What's going on, guys? Welcome back to News to Astonish, where we discuss comics, movies, games, and more. Here to talk to you about some more Spider-Man 4 news. And before I get into that subject, I want you guys to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and click on the bell notification so y'all don't miss anything. I post videos just about every day, and I live stream at least twice a week. I know lately I have not been live streaming as I've been taking a bit of a break from live streaming, but stay tuned as always, because on a daily basis, I try to post videos to keep you up to date with the latest news, especially in Spider-Man content. And speaking of which, Spider-Man 4 has been trending quite lately. Also, talking about Vincent D'Onofrio really wanting to return as the Kingpin in possibly the next movie. I'll explain why that could probably be a possibility in just about a few minutes, and probably it most likely won't happen, and I'll explain that as well. So let's go ahead and talk about this. Now, Vincent D'Onofrio, as we all know, is a really big fan of playing the Kingpin character, and he wants to continue playing the character because he can totally see himself playing this character for years to come. But one of the characters that we have yet to see face the Kingpin on the big screen is Spider-Man. Now, we've already seen Daredevil and Punisher go toe-to-toe with the Kingpin thanks to the Netflix series on Netflix called Daredevil. But we have yet to see, again, the wall crawler face the Kingpin. As you know, the Kingpin is a formidable opponent to Spider-Man. Although just being a human being, he's actually a lot more than what he really is. So never underestimate the Kingpin, because really what he has mostly is muscle underneath all that fat exterior that he has. And he's really powerful, and he's always been proven to be a very formidable opponent to the wall crawler. Now, reading this article on comicbook.com, Kingpin first appeared in Marvel canon during the pages of The Amazing Spider-Man number 50, some 50 years ago. And the main villain has faced off against the web crawler plenty of times in the 5 decades since. To date, however, fans have yet to see the two characters interact in live action, something Vincent D'Onofrio himself hopes to change. D'Onofrio has played the Kingpin in 3 seasons of television in Daredevil, and recently made a resurgence as the fan favorite villain during the closing moments of Hawkeye. If the actor gets his way, he'll find his way into the next movie in the Spider-Man franchise as an honor to the villain's comic book roots. Punisher, Daredevil, and Spider-Man are the ones that my character is tied to in the comic books, D'Onofrio said in a recent stop on the Sarah O'Connell show. But there's plenty of room for others. I can just only hope that that happens, but I mean, Spider-Man, definitely. I think that would be really fun. When the host then went on to mention a potential cameo in Spider-Man 4, D'Onofrio said that he really wants that to happen just as much as everybody else does. The actor spoke with comicbook.com's Comic Book Nation podcast earlier this year and said Kingpin is one of the few characters in his career he'd continue to keep playing, which is really good news for us fans, because Vincent D'Onofrio really is the Kingpin when we see him on screen. He was really good in Hawkeye, and he was awesome in, of course, Daredevil. And I can only say I hope I get to keep playing Wilson Fisk, said D'Onofrio, because I'm very into this character. Out of my entire career, I can probably say that there are maybe 3 or 4 that I would love to repeat, because somehow I just feel like there was no exploration, the actor said at the time. Wilson Fisk is one of those. He's a very particular human being, and I think there are many uses of him in the MCU. All 6 episodes of Hawkeye are now streaming on Disney+, while 3 seasons of Daredevil are streaming on Netflix. So what other Defenderverse characters do you want to see appear in the MCU? You let me know down in the comment section below. Now, it is true, once again, it's just really odd. Now, for those of you who do not follow the Marvel Studios canon or the Sony Marvel-verse canon, and probably don't understand as to why Spider-Man has never faced off against Kingpin, well, Spider-Man is yet technically a Sony character, although he is being shared with Marvel Studios Disney, because they have an agreement to share the character all these years throughout this time, where we've gotten so many Marvel movies in the past, even before Marvel Studios. If you've ever wondered why Spider-Man has never gotten toe-to-toe with Kingpin on the big screen, it's because, well, technically Kingpin has remained with Regency or Fox with the Daredevil character, and Spider-Man was with Sony and still is with Sony to this day, only in this case he's being shared with Marvel Studios and Disney, and now it's more of a possibility that we could be seeing the Kingpin character sometime very soon interacting with Spider-Man. I highly doubt he will appear in Spider-Man 4, or whatever it is that they're going to call it for the next Sony Spider-Man film, because since Spider-Man No Way Home kind of explored the whole multiverse aspect of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm thinking that Sony's going to want to continue that trend in some sort of way in Spider-Man 4, unless they decide to go back to Friendly Neighborhood. Judging by the ending of Spider-Man No Way Home, spoiler alert, Tom Holland's Spider-Man seems to have gone back to Friendly Neighborhood, where he's made his own costume, and we're probably going to be seeing those more of those Friendly Neighborhood in the city, grounded adventures that Spider-Man's really well known for in the comic books. And those stories tend to be the very best stories because they're very personal and they really hit home. And another thing I really want to see at least the movies adapt, since the Kingpin tends to be tied to very dark stories, I want to see a Back in Black adaptation, which is one of my favorite Amazing Spider-Man stories of all time. And if you've read that comic book and you know what I'm talking about, I'll show you some comic book still panels here. So basically, Peter Parker Spider-Man is back in black. He's not exactly wearing a symbiote suit, but he's just wearing a black costume. He goes out of his way to go find Kingpin in prison, fights him one-on-one, and he beats up into a pulp. Like, we're talking near death, and embarrasses Wilson Fisk in front of the other prisoners there. The Kingpin is bloodied and beaten near to death and just embarrasses him. Even his identity is out in the open where all the prisoners can see him. Peter Parker doesn't seem to care, but he's been a major villain for the Spider-Man character for such a long time, for over 5 decades now. I know that he's really well known to being a Daredevil villain, but he is also a Spider-Man villain, and Wilson Fisk Kingpin really is a villain to a lot of the Marvel heroes in the Marvel Universe overall. So what are your thoughts about Vincent D'Onofrio expressing interest in returning as the Kingpin character in a Spider-Man film, or perhaps even making a cameo in a Spider-Man film? Do you think he should cameo in Spider-Man 4, or do you think he should be saved for a future Spider-Man movie, like, let's say, Spider-Man 5? You comment down below with your thoughts and theories. I like to read them. As always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click on the bell notification so you all don't miss anything. And as always, I will see you all in the next comic panel.